Let's kick it off.
Okay.
Two Trainers Podcast is back.
It's back.
Season 2. Co-host Katarina Hydnman, Scott
It's me.
Salling. The F.I.T Academy team. Rin, thanks a lot for the Fountainhead Network for having us. They have a beautiful space. I've always wanted to come here and get something like this going.
It's nice.
The Ninja Turtle arcade game is still my personal favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
But so we're getting it up and going again. I think it's time. Great having you on board as a new F.I.T teammate. So it's been a great journey coming through. But let's just get right into it. Basically, just want to get to know a little bit about your backstory. Grew up in Coquitlam.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what I like to know is about your family. I always think that's like one of those things, even when you're taking somebody on from a team perspective, is you get a lot of insight into someone through their family. So tell us a little bit about your family background. I know a little bit, but for the listeners tuning in, give us some Kat Hydnman background.
Mom, dad, older brother.
Yep.
Both very hard-working parents. My dad worked for Ford for 30 years. Mom was in the union, high up there, and just hard workers with kind of old school values, sit down and eat dinner every night as a family. And my brother's a teacher, and he's been a big inspiration to me. He's traveled a lot and
Stephen Bowles.
Super compassionate. Yeah. And just a really solid upbringing.
And Stephen is older.
He is 4 years older.
Right. What's it like having an older brother?
I mean, it's good. We've both gone our separate ways in adulthood, but it's great. We've always maintained a good relationship, especially as we've gotten older.
Right.
And it's good, I wish we were closer when we were younger.
Yeah.
It was,
I think like me being an older brother, there's I guess I was always thrusted to take care of my younger sister. So like the relationship grew as we got older. Like it almost seemed like I had to be like a third parent.
Right.
In a way. So like kind of prevented us from being close. And then, then we got closer in our 20s. So
100%.
The older brother role, I've always been fascinated with it a little bit. Yeah. It's something that you don't really sign up for, but I think it pays off a lot.
Because you're how many years older?
I'm 3 years older than Jen. Right. So we did, the only time we were in school, we were in elementary school, we missed middle school, and then she was grade 9, I was in grade 12. So it was kind of nice to spend 1 year in high school, but she could have that older brother protection, if you will. Yeah. Right. I was going to ask you, what's a value that you've learned and taken with you from your family? Like, what is like the primary thing that you've been taking with you since you're 28 now?
It's going to sound really cliche, but kindness. Yeah. My parents are the ones to donate Christmas gifts on Christmas to families in need and pay for the person behind them in driveways and not tell anyone about it. So I think silent kindness is one of the biggest values. Yeah, that is big.
That stuff is just moving forward in anything, just kindness, and it's such a huge thing for forming relationships. Yeah. I think for me, for sure, it's people think our family has such emphasis on athletics, and there was always such a higher emphasis on being a quality person and an upstanding person in the community first, opposed to just accolades and sports and whatnot. So it's those are the things that we carry into like what we do. Yeah. Right. So you can provide a workout, but it's just how you make people feel. I think is so big. Recently married, August, great wedding. I was there.
September, but yes. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Labor Day.
Yeah.
Lavender Field.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal wedding. Newlywed, you guys planned the wedding.
Yeah, mostly.
How was that process, and would you recommend that to somebody getting married in 2023?
I mean, I won't take full credit. My mom's retired, and she's a workaholic, so she was happy to take on this wedding planning project. If it were me planning it, probably would have lost my mind. Right. So I'd say brides out there, don't be afraid to ask for help. If you can afford to, hire a wedding planner, and honestly, it might save you money even by doing that.
What's an outrageous cost for weddings? Something that I wouldn't know.
Catering. Yeah.
So food.
For a good caterer, for that size, we're talking 15 to 20. Yeah. Crazy. It is insane. That's the biggest cost by far.
Catering.
Yeah.
No DJ?
I mean, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You need a DJ, but it's not crazy expensive.
Yeah, fair enough. Thailand is the honeymoon.
That's right.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Big trip.
Sunday.
right? You
Yeah.
and Jamie heading out, which is, I think I'm just green with envy, obviously.
Yeah.
Give us the Thailand itinerary. So 19 days?
19 days,
Okay.
yeah. And for anyone who doesn't know, Jamie is my husband, and he is trained by Scott
BPP.
Salling over here.
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Attaboy.
Itinerary. Okay, so we fly into Bangkok.
Mm-hmm.
We'll spend a couple days there. We're going to Chiang Mai,
Right.
and then Phuket, and then down to more of some of the secluded islands to close out the trip. So like it's a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any Thailand viewers out there? I'm sure you know how this trip's gonna go.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. So going into post-secondary, so out of high school, you went to Pine Tree.
Yeah.
I went to Terry Fox.
Right.
What was coming out of high school? What did you want to pursue coming out of high school? What was your direction that you found post grade 12?
I went into makeup school immediately. So like graduated in June, started makeup school in July. I believe.
Where did you go?
Blanche McDonald.
Blanche McDonald.
Yeah.
Okay, I know a few friends that went there.
Highly recommend. But I think that some people know what they want to do young, but I think rarely. Like I think I jumped into it a little too quick. I was like, I want to do this forever. I'm sure of it. And then,
it's intricate, right? Like makeup's intricate, and it's like a pretty big industry. It seems like in Vancouver because like the film industry is so big.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like I did a little bit of extra work when I was young, but to see the opportunities that are there, and it is competitive.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You have to be insanely talented and passionate, and I wasn't. I was kind of like, I
was going to ask you, what's the biggest tangible to a successful makeup artist? Like from what you've seen, what do they have? What separates them from somebody?
I think when you don't put yourself in a box. So like there's people who want to do fashion makeup, there's people who want to do special effects. I think when you're like most things, if you can be multifaceted.
Right.
I don't know if.
Do I have a chance?
Right. Do you? I don't know, Scott.
I know. Jack of all trades, but definitely not that one.
Yeah. You never know.
All right. First job. What was your first job?
First job was it was Sammy J's. It was called Sammy J Peppers at the time.
On Lougheed?
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
That's right. 15 years old.
Okay. Hostess?
Yeah, hostess. Actually, I was probably a busser.
Oh, okay.
And then a hostess, and then I think I was there till I was 19. So I learned a lot at that job.
Well, give me something from that. I was going to go into my next kind of question is what's something that you learned from that customer service experience being in the hospitality industry? Because I feel a lot of great trainers who have been in a hospitality kind of background, they really do carry that over into their service, and that's where it really takes them to the next level.
Yeah, I think.
So what is something that you've learned from Sammy J's?
Sort of like another cliche, but the customer is always right. Like things like that where it's like, and with our clients, like we're here to provide a good experience for them. It's not about us. Like, I'm not gonna, talk about, I can't wait to be out of here in 2 hours. Like, it's like, it's just, your focus is on them making the best experience possible.
Right.
So I'd say that seed was planted there for sure.
And some people do disagree with the customer's always right philosophy, but I believe in it because if there's an issue going on, generally it could be emotional. Like if a customer's upset, so you can't really call them wrong for being upset about something.
Right.
Right. So in the customer service situation, I think it's a great test for people of all ages to take a second, breathe, let the customer, and then solve the problem essentially. Right. Yeah. So the customer's always the right thing is, I do believe in it because if you're not making them happy, then you're going to have a hard time getting business. Right. Cactus Club was kind of the same. We called it the House of Yes. Yeah. And it was just anything that we could do. What I liked about our management was they wouldn't want us to go ask them like, hey, should we? They're like, if you have to ask, just do it. Right. Like, just go make it happen. Like, if you need.
Was that your first job?
No, my first job actually was. I technically umpired softball, and the reason why I umpired softball was because they paid more than umping baseball. Right. So I guess that was technically my first job. My first go for a job interview was I think it was the Two Parrots Pub locally. Yeah. Oh, okay. I did some extra work, some random movie stuff, but it wasn't really like. It was just like I was Rhino Brothers, that hockey movie. Remember I showed you that weird IMDb thing? So technically, umping, Rhino Brothers, but my first I would say is the Two Parrots Pub. Dishwasher. Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was nice to get into the dish pit, check out the scene. It wasn't like, it was in between sports seasons, so make a little bit of scratch back then wasn't bad.
The restaurant world's fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a whole different, it's enjoyable for sure. High stress. The holidays are fun.
Yes.
Right? cheers to the old Starbucks cups, right?
Cheers.
Holiday season.
Shout out to
Remembrance Day is on Friday, so some people get a little upset with the holiday decor beforehand, but Remembrance Day, November 11th. Have the moment of silence. But I guess my next, do you have a favorite boss? Somebody who made an impact on you throughout your occupational days up until now?
Yeah, I'd say my previous job, it was an office job. I had sort of the head of like the administration department, lovely woman. Her name's Anne. Actually, shout out to Anne. Yeah, just a very graceful woman and a hardworking powerhouse. I mean, it's always good to see a woman in a position like that, and she just kind of demanded respect in a gentle way, if that makes sense.
No, yeah,
and she was always willing to listen. So, someone at that high executive level could kind of act like I don't have the time of day for, the smaller positions and whatnot. But she always made everyone feel heard and seen, and I think that's what makes a great boss.
I was going to ask you, what are some traits that you value in a leader?
Yeah, I think just for them to treat you as your peer, to a certain degree. Like obviously, there's levels of leadership and whatnot, but I think to feel heard and seen and to be treated like an equal. Yeah,
like what I love, like when you see people who genuinely care and will go the extra mile, and ones that walk the walk. I think it's always been motivating. Yeah, like sometimes you can walk into someone's office and they feel like they, maybe they're just in a management position, they're kind of just putting it in, that kind of thing. But then there's ones who are just actively involved, and your presence isn't something that is a deterrent. They want to make sure you're doing a great job. So I've worked for a couple of great people that I think that's where when you see you're in the right place, because when you see passionate leadership, it'll make you kind of be like, like, is this for me? And if you can meet that passion, it carries over to a great team concept, right? That government. What did you do? I know you don't like to describe it. I know it's a little bit vague, but what was the actual? I've always been curious about it because you don't want to. What was the job like working for the government? Like how?
I worked for the union that represents government employees. So basically, what I did is I would just I basically managed the database. So I would enter membership applications into the database and send work with the communications department to distribute emails and newsletters, and it's only been 4 months and I'm somehow forgetting. It's just a lot of admin stuff, a lot of data entry.
Is it challenging?
It wasn't challenging enough in terms of creativity.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of this is laid out for you, this is what you do. And that's great for a lot of people. But I just felt for me, I wasn't flexing that creative muscle enough.
Right.
And
Well, my next question is going to be, what made you pursue personal training?
Okay.
Right.
Just getting into the nitty-gritty.
I know a little bit, but I don't know the full polarizing shapeshift of a career.
So layered answer. I would say I always knew that I wasn't going to work a 9 to 5. I knew that was a bridge to the next situation. So I knew that. And then I'd say when I first started working out, it really taking it seriously, I'd say it made me it just clicked. I'm like, I think some people work out because they have to, and that's great. But I work out because I actually love it. I love the monotony. I love everything about it. So when I started to realize that I could do this as a career and share this feeling with other people, light bulb. And then the other thing too is that I didn't want to have a sedentary job forever.
Right.
So I think moving around constantly and also being able to connect with people, sitting behind a computer for me, I'm introverted, but I do crave being social. Obviously, I think most people do.
Yeah.
So all of those reasons.
Yeah. When did you start taking working out seriously? What year, what age were you when you're like, I'm buying into this. I see the value in it.
Well, to be honest, like I would say 28. I'd say like 24, I really started to like at least try to get it like consistently, and then I would fall off, and like I always saw the value. But I'd say these past 2 years have been when I started taking it seriously, and even just this past year of next level.
Did it have anything to do with the pandemic? Like,
oh, for sure.
Did it?
Yeah.
So it had an impact on you, kind of getting more
I guess
focused.
it has been like over 2 years.
Where did you like big gym?
Yeah.
Membership based gym?
Yeah. So I would go to Club 16 and I would hide in the corner of the women's section.
Right.
I would only go to gyms with women's sections because I just didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to see anyone I know.
Right.
Didn't want to be judged. So that's evolved.
Yeah. I love people's like first start when they kind of, because I guess that's the addiction to it, is just how it makes you feel, and it can really leverage. That's how I never thought in a million years I'd be doing that.
Yeah.
Never thought for a second.
Really?
No, I mean, training for us was training for the sport, and getting into, we help sports teams and whatnot. I became a strength coach first to pay it forward, but because it was something that we knew, but it wasn't from a personal training perspective. I didn't really know what that was. I was like, why can't you just go to the gym and be on a machine and
Right.
do it?
It's funny because I imagine like 5-year-old Scotty being like, I'm going to be a personal trainer one day.
No, I was like music. I love sports. I love competition, quality competition. I love competing with myself and just making sure I can do the greatest possible job I can. And, just evolution, I feel, is great. Just evolve in some way. But as far as personal training, I didn't really understand it until it was brought forth. And I'm like, but then I started to understand it was the accountability, and then there was people who weren't active coming up, and I was like, okay, well, it was bridging the gap of understanding like how I came up was different, and everybody needs health. So like if I can help somebody, then it became less about me and more about them, which I really enjoy, because that goes into what my mom, giving back.
Yeah.
Right. It was like almost a way to like give back to somebody. If I can motivate them, inspire them to do more for their health, that's great. So it's kind of a little win-win thing, right? We do it for ourselves, but I think with the industry and how I came up, it's just so nice seeing someone set a goal. You can coach them along the best of your ability, right, and support them. And you're supposed to elevate people up opposed to take them down, right? So I love it. It's great. But it's interesting with the pandemic and how much that has held people down or springboarded them forward through change.
100%. Yeah.
Right. And it says, I never thought we'd be at the precipice of change, even for our business, at the kind of not the tail end of the pandemic, but with 2022 and, all the changes that we've gone through, job changes, locational changes, team changes, right? Our whole new facility now is like everybody's gone through their own change in some aspect, right? Which is cool to have everybody, connect on that.
Yeah.
Right. So,
2022 has been.
It's been a ride. It's been a crazy. Like, how funny is it? Like, success in businesses we've had awards, the A-list stuff, top trainers, business resilience awards. We've changed facilities. Like, it's just been crazy to see like the notoriety within the business, but at the same time, like all the stuff we've been going through behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right. Like job change, getting married, planning. People don't see that stuff, right? So like that's why I love the quote. People are rewarded in public for what they don't practice for years in private. And it's just, I think this FIT situation currently, that's kind of indicative of that, right? But what made you choose FIT? Out of all the choice, I met you when you were getting trained and, getting to that, but, going to school, BCRPA Douglas, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
What made you choose FIT of all things for your development? Because that's an important thing. And, we put emphasis on that for trainers coming in. Like, you got to find the place that helps you develop. So what was it about FIT that attracted you the most, or because you had your choice?
Yeah,
I mean, choices, not just two, you had multiple.
Right. I'd say definitely the culture. Like I had my eye on FIT like well before you had ever mentioned it. I was like, I mean, that would be the dream, obviously, down the road to be a trainer there. Just
very humbling though. It's
the culture, like it's just not like anything out there. Like I've had before I was a client at FIT, I've had several assessments throughout my 20s at club, like different gyms.
Right. So you've gone through that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
interesting.
And it's just Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like it's just it felt far less personal, and I think yeah,
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been through. I was the assessment queen. Just like I'm going to go take that free session at every.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I mean, to put it really simply, there's just nothing else like it. And then when I was in school at Douglas, and I would mention to my teachers like, "Oh, I train at F.I.T, like as a client,"
right?
And they're like, "Oh, F.I.T Academy," and like they knew who you were, and they just like immediately they perk up, and just I could tell that it's a really well respected business.
Interesting.
And yeah,
it's good to know, because that's, I think, part of it. That's where I get a little bit uncomfortable, is the attention. And like the award stuff is great, but you do not go into it for those reasons. You literally go in every single day to make, like Eleanor had her to make her day and her session. And it's cool to see that it's like compound interest. Right. And it's like compound interest of positivity. Right. So it's cool to hear that the name is out there, but it's a little bit.
It's out there.
And I know that's the thing. Even across like Canada, like we'll get messages on occasion from Calgary, or like when we do that, we've got the F.I.T Academy Challenge going on. Someone from Ontario who like heard from Impact Magazine kind of thing. And
and shout out Aunt Barbie, also in Ontario.
Aunt Barb, absolutely. Shout out to the F.I.T Academy Challengers. I know they're working hard doing their thing, and this is a tough one. It's a 60-day one.
It's tough,
right? So it's hard to stay, but at the same time, it's you'll always learn something if you buy it, and you'll see, even if it's, oh, I fell off this week or whatever, that's all part of it, right? So you're collecting data, but no, it's interesting to get, because you had your free choice of where you pretty much wanted to go. I call it personal trainer free agency, and then so you chose the F.I.T Academy
and then
zone, which is
obviously like it's, as a trainer, I think it's the best setup for the trainer's advantage too. And
that's how we wanted to structure it, because coming up in the industry, you're sitting back and trainer burnout and underpaid, and it's just a classic, right? It's like, and I always thought like the root was, I saw how important trainers were to the culture of a business. Like people were coming to see them individually, almost having their own personal brands and personality types, and to see like there was places that you could really learn, but you weren't paid well. So I was like, how could we connect those two variables? Can we get them to get paid better and obviously develop as a professional, which is key, because if you don't develop, then your clients don't develop. So, and that's how F.I.T Academy's model started. We've evolved it since then, which is great. But I always wanted to give something to the young Scotty, right? What could I, when I was coming into the industry, I always kind of like wondered like where, and I tried to put myself in the best positions to learn from the best, who I thought was the best at the time. So, but I'll throw this quick one at you. If you could sit with your 20-year-old self, have a little cup of coffee, a little massage perhaps, what advice would you give to young Kat at 20, knowing a little bit about what you know now? Because I know you've evolved and you've experienced a lot, and I know you got a lot of courage, so I know. What would you tell you?
No, that's so hard, because obviously there's so many things that I want to say, but I would say just kind of like relax. You know what I mean? Like thinking at 20 years old, like I thought I knew more at 20 than I do now. Like, do you know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean.
So at 20, I'm like, why don't I have like this perfect life? And it's like, okay, you were literally in the teens a year ago. You know what I mean? Like, slow down. Like, it's like, what's that Billy Joel song? Vienna, I believe. And it's like that song. And when I listen to it, I'm like, man, I wish I could play that to my 20-year-old self. Because it's like,
I think that's great. That you somehow, piece of advice I got, like, you're always going to be old to someone and then young to someone. And like at 20, I felt old because, you're working with freshmen or, and it's just that calm yourself, relax. You're young, but it's like you're old to a 16-year-old,
right?
But to a 25-year-old, you're young. A 25-year-old's young to a 30-year-old, so it's all relative, right?
And
so
another
I think
thing,
relax is great.
And just don't try to like grow up too fast. Like, just enjoy
it, right?
Young.
Embrace it, enjoy it. I know that's what I tell a lot of the young athletes I train is try to savor the moment. Like even get to practice, because you go to college, freshman year, okay, fine, it's new. Then you're a sophomore. You're halfway through almost. Then it goes quick. Right, and just try to enjoy it as much as you can. And I know people want to perform. You always want to do your best, but every day just there's something to take from every single day. So, but getting into some like fitness stuff. So I think one of the things I'm always interested in, the big thing that kind of helped me elevate my personal game was morning routine. So I guess the question I'd love to get your insight on, because I know you're on top of your game and you're always evaluating your game. So walk us through, and any listeners, with your morning routine. Your optimal cat's morning routine, essentially. Everybody, there's times where we can fall off a little bit, but when you're clicking, because I know, you're dedicated. Give me cat's morning routine, and I'm taking some notes.
It's very simple because I get up. I've been getting up like this morning, 4:30 a.m. Right, so it's like I'm not. I've learned to make it very efficient. So. I'm now drinking black coffee, which is a new thing because
that was a goal of yours.
I've been obsessed with this silk creamer, but I'm like
right.
sugary. Like I'm like, so big hurdle drinking black coffee to start the morning, and I'll go up, do my skincare, which, as you know, is quite important to me. And while that's all happening, I put on, and this is actually thanks to the Fit Academy challenge. It's a habit that I had many years ago where I start every single day with a positive audio. So like. Right now, I'll just go on YouTube and put like morning motivation or whatever. Yes, a lot of Les Brown, Tony Robbins. Some of it is like, maybe I've heard it a million times, or maybe they're like shouting, but it's like, it's just something to like just get the brain firing and like start my day on that foot.
Right.
And
it's like a mental primer just to, right.
That's pretty much it. I would love to say I like sit and meditate and so like, but I'm really, right now, I'm trying to get minimum 7 hours sleep every night. So I pretty much only leave myself about 20 minutes to get ready in the morning before work. So,
well, like since we've been going, and how, I don't like to use the word busy, but how much more active your schedule has been since day one has been remarkable.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's the crazy part about in our career is, we have to become more proficient on our own time to increase our energy levels to do a great job. It's like being on my dad always says, it's kind of like you guys are on the radio. Like you can't really have an off. You can, but we're coaching, right?
You got to show up.
You got to show up, presentable, positive, and that's tough.
Yeah.
Right. Cause we're human.
Yeah.
Right. So, but since talking about your routine, I think the thing you've helped me with skincare, which was good because
I like to hear that.
Big time.
Yeah.
Because when I've gone through a transition, and as you know, March 19th, when we changed the business model up, went to West Coast Iron, shout out to West Coast Iron, that's when you decided to come and get on board with the next step of Fit.
Yeah.
Which, going to West Coast, it was like, for me, it was kind of going back home. That's where kind of we started, was that X Club. Then it went to, Ron and the boys made West Coast, and you came into that experience. So how was that experience for you coming into West Coast? Like, big gym, different environment. We got to the studio.
When I
spent a couple months there.
Yeah, when I first heard West Coast Iron, I was very intimidated. I was like, whoa, like, a lot of big boys, bodybuilders, and I'm like, it's not, it's a scene that I wasn't familiar with. But when I went there, I will say pleasantly surprised. Great culture there. Super welcoming ownership and great facility. Obviously, it's different than like our clientele.
Yeah.
So, but I think it was easier to adapt than I thought, and I think that's just one of those things where it's just one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting experience.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so happy you got to see that because we started. That's how Fit started, was at X Club, and renting the space there, and just meeting Ron, Corey, and Ditto. Just like they're passionate about what they do, and like that's it kind of opens up your mind to there's yogis, bodybuilders, and it's cool to kind of add to your network. It makes you
respect the craft. Like I respect respect all aspects of the fitness industry, and
But in that transition for me, as you know, like my world went upside down, and that's when I can forget things like that, like skincare, meditation, the things that keep
you're out of your routine. A little bit.
When they keep me together. My workout time got shooken up completely. My schedule, I was really trying to stabilize the clientele so we could have a smooth transition, which I thank the ownership of West Coast for allowing me to do, was get comfortable, do great work. So, but you've helped me immensely with that, and I've still carried that over, which is weird because for me to maintain a routine, it's got to be simple. And it's like, if I got to say that's why with supplements I have a hard time with, 3 times per day. Like I'm so bad at that. Yeah. It's got to be like right away, one time. And like, but with you've helped me immensely with the is it CeraVe or CeraVe? Yeah. Retinol.
That's right.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Right? No, it's great. Love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The routine is so key. Like that's one thing that I've established over the years. It's been a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So Dirty Dancing. Right.
Okay.
You recently watched Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, I did.
I haven't seen it. I probably shouldn't say that publicly, but
you should really get on that.
All right. So my question goes: sell me on Dirty Dancing. I'm crazy for Swayze, but I haven't seen Dirty Dancing. Give me your Dirty Dancing synopsis.
Okay.
What's all the hype about?
Well,
Eric Carmen's song. I know we've been playing that.
Right. So you know the plot, right?
I don't. I kind of know like a little. Okay, like all I know is Swayze, dance instructor, baby, because you told me about her name. I didn't even know her name, and romance. Yeah, I just don't know what the heck.
I don't know how old baby's supposed to be. Like I get maybe 18, 19.
Okay.
I'd like to think so. Anyways, so she goes.
I don't want to say Jennifer Lawrence, but what's her name again?
Oh God, I don't know.
Jennifer Grey.
Jennifer Grey? Jennifer Grey. So they go to the Catskills, which was like
Janet.
which was like sort of a resort, I think somewhere in New York.
Okay.
And she's with her family, and they're definitely apprehensive about her dating this guy. I think, oh man, were they trying to, I think they like have an idea of who they want her to be with, kind of thing. And then this guy, he's the dance instructor there. They have the big performance, and then his dancing partner gets pregnant, like knocked up. So they're like, oh no, we got to kind of you know. And then he's like, I need a new partner. Then in comes baby. She doesn't know what she's doing, so Patrick Swayze has to like.
So she's no dance experience.
No dance experience. She's like shy and kind of like awkward, and then he just teaches her how to dance. She slowly gets better. One thing leads to another.
So she's crazy for Swayze.
She becomes crazy for Swayze.
Who isn't?
And before this movie, I'm like, I don't even like Patrick Swayze, but now I'm like. I've been watching interviews. I'm like, I have a list of all the Swayze movies I need to watch. Like, I'm in.
Well, what's next?
Well, Ghost. I gotta watch Ghost. Yeah.
I didn't want to, but that was like the first movie I watched that was like actually emotional. I'll ruin it for you, but like,
okay, so you shed a tear.
Well, I wasn't. It was like an '80s flick. My aunt loved it, and I wasn't gonna watch it, but it came on. I think I was like 15, and it was on like Channel 47. It was called TBS back in the day, and. Yeah, I was like shocked. I was like, "Whoa, I'm feeling what's going on here?" Like, Whoopi Goldberg, I was like, "Whoa, man! Like this is Demi Moore."
I love Whoopi too. So
Whoopi was awesome, right?
Demi Moore, right?
Yeah,
Demi. Hell of a cast.
Oh, it was good. It was good. It's worth watching for sure.
Yeah.
Then you can go into like, Roadhouse is like that kind of like Top Gun,
right.
80s action ish.
Yeah.
Well,
he just wasn't around long enough.
No.
Sucks.
No, I know.
Sucks.
There's a great interview with Whoopi Goldberg, and after she met up with him before he'd passed away. It's worth watching. He's got some like pretty good insight on him knowing his demise and not necessarily accepting it, but just how his approach was knowing he was going to die. It's good. I'll send it to you.
Interesting.
All right. So, favorite quote, something that you live by, a mantra, if you will. What's your favorite quote, and why does it resonate with you?
Okay, it's actually a Gary Vaynerchuk quote.
Ooh.
So I don't know why, like this one just, you hear something and it sticks with you. He said something along the lines of, if one person in your circumstances has ever reached a point of happiness, then there's a blueprint. So I heard that, and so everyone kind of thinks, I know for me at least, I think I'm the only one who's dealing with this and it's going to be so hard. And it's like, but there's one person in the world, at least, who's gone through what you're going through, has successfully overcome it. Therefore, there's a blueprint. Therefore, there is a way. And I
like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. So I like to think of that. Like you're never stuck. You're not the only one. Your problems most likely aren't unique to you. Like there is a way. You just have to
connect, and that's, I think, when people get really down is when they feel isolated and alone.
100%. And we've all felt it, obviously.
Of course.
But I think so that quote has helped me a lot.
Yeah. Someone's going through what you've gone through, maybe connect with it. Yeah, no, that's great. That's Gary V.
Gary V.
That's a solid one.
Yeah. What about you?
the one that I always gravitate towards, and it's just a weird principle I feel, is exposure leads to expansion. And as I've like broken that down, where the more you get exposed to something, the more you grow. I believe it's even when it comes to like my friends are rather multicultural, and we've always kind of made these jokes about how like we came together. But it's my best friend, he's African American, is seeing how his family function, being exposed to their family, made me just develop that emotional connection. So if you're always around the same kind of type of people, it's like you might not expand in any regard. So like I feel
Very
like
good point.
exposing yourself to certain stresses allows you to expand different environments. Even when it comes to, let's say, your skill set, like if you don't expose yourself to different, let's say, tactics or approaches, then how do you expand your skill set? So it's something that I always try to remind myself with, and
I like that a lot.
It's a good one that I've kind of held myself to. Just make sure, no matter what, if you want to expand, you got to expose yourself in a professional way.
Because so a big role model of mine is Angelina Jolie, and there's a interview that she did that she said she didn't know who she was until she traveled to third world countries and had that exposure of like, oh wow, like this is life. I had no idea.
We're blessed in a lot of ways, and I think definitely travel is huge, and that's the one thing. I was pretty committed to sports in my 20s, and every time I travel, no matter where it is, I take something from, whether it's restaurant culture or just the street infrastructure. I don't know. There's always something to learn.
That's
right.
key.
And I think even with F.I.T, like, as you see, like our environment, like it's not your conventional gym space, but it's, it's looking at companies like Burb and, let's say Sparkling Hills or Mission Hill Wine. There's these, you start to blend your taste together, looking at different cultures and infrastructures, and going to Miami and checking out South Beach. And so, there's a lot of cool stuff when you expose yourself. You can expand anything, really.
100%.
No, that's great. That's a great quote. All right, superpower. If you could have one superpower, what would you have and why?
Well, can I say what I know your answer would be? Because I feel like I know.
You want to use my. Okay, you can, because I have a backup, so you can use.
Okay, so I'm gonna steal
it.
I feel like so teleportation.
Okay,
would
great.
Be great.
I love it. We've talked. Yeah.
Another thing is
so why teleport? Like,
just obviously like save time and money. And then like it'd be nice on the weekends to just like pop over to Maui or like, you know what I mean?
Anything.
Go to Greece for dinner. Imagine instead of going out for Italian food, you just go to Italy.
Yes.
And have pasta.
Well, Heather brought up a good like +1 concept. Like, how nice would it be to have teleportation +1?
+1.
Be great.
Right.
Yeah. So it's time, money saver, right?
Yeah.
So you took teleportation. I think I would like superpower. I mean, Heather brought up flying. I think what I would enjoy would be like the ultimate ability to problem solve. If I could solve any problem, like that would be my superpower.
Right.
Just like, I got it. Right. I think it would just alleviate a lot of stress.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would alleviate a lot of stress. I think it'd be fun too. It'd be a little bit stressful, but like you just know the answer.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit not so fun after a while, because you just kind of.
Right. You're like, this is boring.
Like, I'm a great engineer. It's I know what to do. Okay, so this is like my fun one that I want to throw at you. Any one concert, any artist, dead or alive, you got premium tickets on a Saturday night. Who you going to?
Oh, Michael Jackson.
MJ. Okay.
Yeah. That's easy for me.
Yeah, it's easy for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
What about you?
I don't want you to flip that. It's so hard. That's why I was hoping you just.
Any dead or alive.
I mean, yeah, Michael Jackson's a great answer. I mean, there's a side of me that would love to. I would love to see Zeppelin all intact.
Oh yeah.
At the peak of their situation, in the front. I mean, Freddie Mercury would be amazing, but there's something about like just like if I could see Zeppelin in like the front row, Bonham, the whole squad.
Yeah.
Right. Another one that. Okay, a sub one. The Beatles would be amazing in their heyday. Not necessarily like Beatlemania, but John Lennon.
Yes.
So yeah.
I've seen Paul McCartney.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah. I've never seen. I saw a Beatles cover band with my mom. I think they were called the Fab Four.
Oh, okay.
It was great, but it gives you that taste, like, oh man, if John was alive, like this would been unreal.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah.
But Michael Jackson he's the king.
I agree.
King of pop. Right.
For sure.
Phenomenal. For sure. Okay, so rapid fire questions.
Okay.
I love these. One thing for life. Pizza or tacos?
Okay.
Pick one. You can only have one for the rest of your life.
So I'm gonna have to go with tacos.
Okay.
Yeah. They would have to be like, oh, that's so hard.
Yeah.
So I guess
it gets harder.
tacos.
Tacos?
Yeah.
Okay. But what, like, give me like do you got a reason why?
Well, just because there's more variety.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a million ways you can eat tacos. There's a handful of ways you can eat pizza.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Side question. Do you have a food guilty pleasure?
Forever salt and vinegar chips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Food guilty pleasure, salt and vinegar chips. Well, you know mine.
Beef jerky?
I mean, it's in that vein.
Right,
We talked about it earlier. Bree Jones. She's a...
Oh, hot dogs.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I got a few guilty pleasures.
7-Eleven.
Yeah. 7-Eleven's my favorite restaurant.
Right. The taquitos are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hot dog. It's just it's hard to... Just the versatility.
Yeah.
You know, chili it up.
Yeah.
I love it. Saute, you know.
Yeah.
Onions are great.
Great.
Coffee or wine? Pick one for life.
Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do the same
because
too.
it fuels me every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Not hard to deny it.
Yeah.
This one's for you, Emily, your dog, or your husband, Jamie.
Oh, Emily.
No, I'll take you, Jamie. I got you.
Yeah. Sorry, honey.
Wi-Fi or $5 million in your pocket right now? One for life.
Oh, for life?
For life.
Oh,
take $5 million in your pocket.
That's a hard one because it's hard to grow a business without Wi-Fi.
Well played.
And you can't live off $5 million in this economy.
Said. That's what Derek Charles just said. Oh man.
So, like realistic. Oh.
$5 million in your pocket or no Wi-Fi.
I guess $5 million. I'll fly to a remote island and live off that forever.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. But you're right. That was something Derek had brought up was how can you build without Wi-Fi?
It'd be hard to live. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right.
Could you use other people's Wi-Fi?
No.
Oh.
No, you can't tap in.
Yeah, I'm taking the $5 million.
All right. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, that's a tricky one for sure.
Yeah. What about you? I'm curious on that one.
For the sake of, I think I'd have to take Wi-Fi, as sad as that is, as much as I like to get tune out. It's a big resource nowadays. I'm hoping, like I said, from a business infrastructure perspective, moving forward, it's a staple now. Yeah. Sadly, but at the same time, and I try to get off my phone as much as possible. It is what it is, right? It's a learning resource now. Yeah. But again, I guess, it'd be interesting to see how you could turn $5 million into more capital without Wi-Fi. Yeah. Like, what could you do? Maybe there's a business model there. Yeah. Right? The checkout place. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Zen out. You'd have to be pretty creative. But it could be done. To Sparkling Hill, they must have Wi-Fi, I guess. Oh, they have Wi-Fi. Because they go... Yeah. I know Scandinavia, actually... Do they go... They're the ones that you can't... The thing is, they do, because they have their tills and everything. And they got something. However, you're not allowed to bring your phone there. Like, if you're a customer, you can't use your phone. Oh, okay. Yeah. But I'm assuming they have Wi-Fi. They got it. Yeah. Yeah, there's got to be some behind-the-scenes ops, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that brings us to Katarina's protein bar review. Ooh, here you go. You got one? I do. One bite. Everybody, I'll let you... Okay. Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. Oh, egg whites. Yeah. It's the RX bar. Wow. Okay. I think why we're doing this because it's funny watching your genuine, actual process while you
it's
go through
squishy, this one.
It's been under my thigh, so it's been there the entire time. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So, Katarina's protein bar review. One bite. Everybody knows the rules. Take your time. No rush. Chocolate sea salt here. So chocolate sea salt RX. Oh, yeah. If you're in the health game, I'm sure you've heard of the RX bar. Okay. Enjoy. It's better than what it was because it was pretty hard. Okay. It's actually nice, a little bit soft. Yeah, because it's pretty hard when you first... That's really good. Is it? I like it. I like that. I like anything that it's soft with a little bit of nuts in there. You get that crunch. Okay, but that's the egg white. Those are those RX, egg white. What's the nutritional content, sugar-wise? Did you peel the pack there? It's supposed to be one of the healthier ones, I guess? Yeah, it doesn't actually say how much sugar there is. 3 egg whites, 6 almonds, 4 cashews, 2 dates. So the dates, natural sugar. Interesting. Not bad. Not bad. Like
Not bad.
ranking out of 10.
Ranking out of 10. I'll say a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing to write home about, but it's like it's
like it's excellent.
Would
Phenomenal.
I grab it in a pinch? Sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my honest review.
Katarina's protein bar review. The RX bar, egg whites. What's the flavor in that again, sir?
Chocolate sea salt.
Okay. Can't be bad.
Yeah.
Chocolate and sea salt.
That's pretty good.
Well, you're off to Thailand on Sunday.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna shut this baby down now.
Yeah.
Season 2, episode 1.
Two Trainers Podcast.
Two Trainers Podcast. All right. It's great to get this going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited.
That's awesome.
All right.
Signing out.
That's it. See you next time.
Absolutely.